This episode of Talking Timbers is brought to you by Appalachian Log Structures, International Homes of Cedar, Log Home Insurance, Rustic Log and Timber, Timberhaven Log and Timber Homes, U.S. Bank, and Ziegler Farms Handcrafted Flooring.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Log and Timber Home Show, the virtual show that is. And in this installment, we're going to be doing a Let's Talk workshop titled From Standard Plan to Custom Home. And with me today is David Everitt from Honest Abe Log Homes. David's been with Honest Abe, which is based out of Tennessee. David happens to be in Virginia. Honest Abe has been around for 40 years. David Everitt's been with Honest Abe for 20 years. Good morning, David.
Good morning.
How's everything down there in Virginia today?
It's a beautiful day in Virginia.
Oh, it always is. My
Absolutely.
old stomping grounds down there.
Yes,
tell by
indeed.
my accent anyway.
Yes, that's yes. You're
But
native.
we're glad to have you this morning. You've been in the industry a long time, and these workshops are designed to help people through the process of building a log or a timber frame home. And the probably the best topic or hottest topic that we, or the funnest part of the process, I guess you could say, is the actual design of the home. And, you've got to start somewhere. I don't know, you've seen it a million times, I sure have, where people come to you on a napkin, the old sketch out a napkin over dinner, that kind of thing. And it starts there. And sometimes that napkin's, 10 years old. But there are tools in place to help people through the process of designing their home. Of course, you can go certain routes where you design the home yourself. You maybe work with an architect or a designer. But a lot of people in our industry, because companies like Honest Abe Log Homes have design processes in place. In other words, they have the people to help you, whether it's a dealer in a particular area or it's the folks at the corporate office or both. But there are processes in place to really get that thing started. And one of them is a standard plan. A lot of companies have standard plans. David, tell me about how many standard plans you have, how they're arranged, different sizes, styles, etc.
Absolutely. We've got approximately 50 standard plans. If you look at our website, we also have a selection of client custom projects on our website to help either just give you more diversity or either just show you the transition that a standard plan can go. And we manage that process through our model sales staff as well as our independent dealer network throughout the country. And then we utilize that in conjunction with our design department at our headquarters in Moss, Tennessee. We've got 4 people that do designing and that type of thing there. So it's a very cohesive process with the client and working very closely with the client to achieve their dream log home.
And really, a lot of times, those plans that the customers ultimately build, some of them become a standard plan. They're so well liked, or the design or something about the overall design of the home, they become part of your collection or gallery of standard plans. And then forever moving forward, people get to use those homes and go through that process. When you're in the early stages of meetings with customers, probably the design and the budget come up pretty early. That's an important part of it. You have to match your design of the home and your budget. We're not going to get into budget too much, but obviously, it's very simple. The bigger the house, the more difficult the lot, the bigger the budget needs to be. And it goes back and forth. But the great thing is part of those meetings is really talking about the budget and how it relates to the overall design and how different things can change that budget. Maybe wants and needs come up, those classic conversations. We're going to talk about a customer of yours, the Joyces. The Joyces are from North Carolina. They're down there on Lake Gaston, and they came to you with a plan. And I'm going to share my screen now so we can kind of go over how the meetings went, what the story kind of is with them, and moving forward, how it all worked out. A beautiful home, for sure.
Absolutely. They were the Joyces were a joy to deal with. We started meeting with them, and they had been through our catalog, our website, and found 2 plans that were very, very similar. However, one of them was entirely too small, and the other one was too large. So, in effect, we merged the two plans. So we'll see kind of how that process went here.
Awesome. There we go. So the title of this presentation is From Standard Plan to Custom Home, and really a lot of the different, when I started in the log home industry in upstate New York, like in 1986-ish, a custom home was a 24 by 36 ranch, which the industry was, everybody had the same plan, a 2 or 3 bedroom home, a small regular ranch, some kind of a roof system. And really you took a red pen out and you moved a window and you moved a door and you added a porch, and voila, your plans were drawn by hand, and you're off to the races. Nowadays, it's a little different, but those red line drawings still play a major role in how this kind of works. So let's take a look at that. This is your Westport. Dave, tell us a little bit about the Westport plan. I assume, based on the shape, it's a very popular design to start with.
This is an extremely popular design. We have modified this design every way that you can imagine, I think. And it's always one of my favorite designs because it's the perfect lake house, the perfect mountain house. As you see, if you're looking at the first floor plan, you've got a full 8-foot porch across what arguably is the front. As you enter in the front door, then you get to where you can see beyond the fireplace, and you're looking out a wall of windows there at whatever your view is, whether it's the lake view or the mountain view. And it's got curb appeal on both sides. Just an exceptional design, and we have just done versions of this design just countless times.
And this is a classic layout. And when you see this plan, I mean, this is designed in essence for a flat lot, if you will. And that's where it comes back to that budget discussion earlier. The Joyces came to you. They had a lakefront lot, had a little slope to it. So you just have to kind of change a little bit. You got to add, some places around the country, you don't put a basement in. In this case, you do. You can see the stairs going down there in the foyer. So they had it. They almost doubled their space. They added a walkout basement, a beautiful lot. We'll see those finished pictures later. And then you went on to the design stage. And as you sat down in meetings, the evolution of this plan really started based on the needs of the Joyces.
Absolutely. Absolutely. One of the, as you look and you see in particular in the master bedroom, the closet there, that's just one of the key things that Mr. Joyce was an avid fisherman, and having the lake lot, Mrs. Joyce did not want to enjoy the light of the closet coming on at dark 30 in the morning as Mr. Joyce is getting ready to go fishing. So he's got the closet there out of the way where he can get prepared to leave in the mornings without disturbing Mrs. Joyce, which I just always love that.
That's kind of the beauty.
Planning, got to keep that harmony going on there as you're enjoying your lake house on the weekends.
Yeah, you got that right. And really, when you hear stories like that, it's based on a lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Everybody's a little bit different, whether they're a fisherman or a hunter or what have you. That's what these houses are all about. You're creating a lifestyle. And when you look at this house, you can see some changes that were made. You can tell with the deck, it was added onto in the front. They put on a screen porch to the left to keep those pesky mosquitoes away from down there in North Carolina. And then they added the mudroom and all of those different things and rearranged some walls. What happens like when you're talking about budgets and all of a sudden you start seeing these things, not in terms of numbers, but the overall effect that these kinds of changes can have? Talk about that a little bit.
Some of these changes are going to affect the budget a fair amount, and some of them not a tremendous amount at all. A couple of the items here are the balconies upstairs. Those are kind of a unique item that are going to add a little bit of complexity and all to that. However, that was a really important feature that the Joyces wanted for their guests to be able to enjoy the lake view out on an outdoor balcony there. The screen porch was a great addition to that plan, just allowing for additional outdoor living space without those pesky mosquitoes, as you say, enjoying their lake view. And one of my favorite features is the laundry room. You'll see that's kind of an odd jut out right there, but that was incorporated as the future breezeway for the future garage, which they have since built. But that is why that protrusion is there. So there, the window at the bottom there was going to transition into a door into the garage, and so that was some long range planning on their part. And the notes that you really don't see, the house grew about 400 square feet, so that's really where the cost difference came in. And the Joyces made some different exterior finish choices that affected the budget. However, that's just entirely personal preference, and so much of this, simple things like making sure you have 3-foot wide doors, very, very minimal cost, but yet for long range planning is very important to think down the road there.
And that's why it's important in those early meetings when the clients and the dealer or the representative are talking, those types of things need to come out. You need to talk about those important parts of the design of the home, because those are, like you said, for looking down the road. Those are the thoughts we got to hear about, so that way we can get those designed in now. You don't want to do those things later. One of the things about log homes is unique. I always, you talk about the different, the uniqueness. Obviously, the in this particular case, the outside walls are logs. When you do that laundry room and that little window on the end there, pretty easy to add a door to a log home. Pretty much cut the hole a little bit bigger and put your door in there, and marry the garage to that breezeway / laundry room. So that's a great move. And a lot of times in design, you have lateral moves where it doesn't really do anything, like moving the fireplace from the center of the house to the wall. In this particular case, my guess is they wanted to take advantage of the view, getting rid of the fireplace that's dead center. When you walk in the house, the first thing you see is the lake. So that's really unique. They redesigned that front bathroom. But one of the big moves here is when you think about the overall budget, they had a porch across the whole front. And, a porch can be an expensive add-on too, because you're dealing with a floor system, a finished roof, which is structural and can be connected to the overall structure of the home. In this particular case, they went with a smaller gable porch. So they saved a little bit of money there. But like you said, when they added the 400 square feet, that certainly is a game changer. Then we get up in these structural additions, the balconies, like you said, and also adding those dormers and some windows. That's where you get into that a little bit. But the beautiful thing is, this is a dream home, fits within your budget. You go for it. That's kind of what this is all about.
It's easier to do it now than to come back and try to change it in 10 years.
And really, this process, you're dealing with this house here, but this is based on any size home, whether it's a 600 square foot cabin or a 7,000 square foot home. The process of designing is still the same. There's no difference in terms of whatever your budget is versus the size of the house. It's just a matter of marrying the two together. And that's really the role of the company, the dealer representative or the representative from the company. So what a process this was. Let's go on to a little bit and see how this house evolved, and then we'll take a look at some of the finished pictures. This is the final floor plan. So you go from the standard plan to those rough sketches, or what I like to call red lines. And then the people in the design department put all of those ideas. Now we're getting into what I would still consider preliminary plans, but the details are really starting to get together here, and you can see the changes, and they look great. I mean, the flow of the house has totally changed. Really well done. Talk about that process. So you go from preliminary plans, then what, David?
Absolutely. So the preliminary plans, there's typically 2 or 3 revisions that will occur. And I know in my personal case from building, the initial ideas don't always translate really well. Once you, hey, this is a great idea. Once you see it on the plans, then maybe that's not going to work quite as well. And things as simple as the swing of the doors, you really try to have the client think through that. One of the major things that I always try to talk clients into is to go see a house, and a house as close to the design as they're wanting to build as we can find. And for a little side note here, when my wife and I were getting ready to build, I had found the perfect Honest Abe floor plan. I said, yep, this is it. This is going to be the one. We can go and see one just like this and just solidify that decision.
Yeah,
we drove 4 hours, and kind enough to have a couple that they had built the exact same unchanged model from Honest Abe, which is a rarity these days. But in the early 90s, that wasn't nearly as unusual. And we walked in the front door. This is a almost identically sized house is what we were living in Georgia. And we walked in the front door and we immediately looked at one another and went, ooh, this is not going to work. We did. The homeowner was just tremendously gracious. We spent an hour and a half, 2 hours with them on a Saturday morning. And we got some incredible ideas on things to change, what to do, what not to do, things that would work for our family. And we did end up building a version of that same floor plan, but we were able to see firsthand what how we needed to modify that design. Whereas, thinking, right out of the box that, this model right out of the catalog is going to be perfect. And honestly, out of the houses that we do at Honest Abe, we might do 2 a year that are standard stock models. We very, very rarely do that. And we are glad to do it, but it is just virtually unheard of. Everybody has to put their own tweak to it to make it suit their needs. And we are glad to do that.
And I think you brought up an interesting point there too, when you said you went to a model, they found a home for you to go visit. I think I always looked at selling log or timber frame homes. It is relationship selling at its best. In the sales world, all that means is you create relationships with your clients. And in this case, these are lifelong relationships. And for the most part, and really, I would think for 100% of them, these are dream homes, and people are proud of these dream homes. So a lot of companies have catalogs or should have catalogs, their local dealers, or if they have direct sales representatives, they know the people who have homes that are similar to the one you might be looking at. And oftentimes they can arrange, just like what you did, to go see a home. A 4-hour or an 8-hour round trip when you're building your dream home really is nothing. It's part of the investment, and really it's part of the fun, I guess you could say.
Absolutely. When you're going to spend $300,000 to $500,000 on a house, 2 days of traveling is a minuscule cost compared to ending up with something that could have been a little bit better. So absolutely.
And like what you said too, nobody really builds a standard plan anymore. But I also want to say, when you have a design in mind that you've designed, you and your spouse have talked over, there might be a good chance that what you've designed, there's something similar in a standard plan. It may be not exact, but close. Absolutely. And this is how this process still goes, is right here with the red lines. Let's move on here a little bit and kind of take a peek at this. So you can see the changes, a side-by-side comparison. This is the first floor. Obviously the screen room, the gable porch versus the full covered porch, that breezeway / laundry room addition. So you can really see the differences here, which made for a really great design and what the Joyces wanted. And that's really what this is all about.
Absolutely.
The second floor plan, same thing. You can see the wings and you can see the middle section where they were able to massage the floor plan and get the space they needed. The middle section grew a little bit, and so did the wings. But that's how they ended up gaining that square footage and getting in the house what they wanted. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. And then, this is the final product, which really is kind of awesome when you think about it. And really, when you see pictures like this, based on what we just looked at, when you look at a one-dimensional floor plan, now you get to see these photos of it in real life. And you can see on the left, that's the exposed basement, where you have to consider that part of the design. And also, David, a really great shot of the laundry room breezeway to now what is a garage and the screen room.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's a little unusual protrusion, but I mean, the thought process there was just made perfect sense. If we're not going to do this now, let's prepare as much as we can for it. And that will make that process much easier down the road. And,
you just hit on another point here too. When you're designing for the future doesn't mean when you get older. It also means what your budget allows today versus what it may allow down the road. So in the Joyce's case, they maybe said, screen room or a garage at this point. Go with the screen room. Cars can handle it outside in the rain. That's no big deal. But eventually, as you get further down the road, your budget changes. You can make that addition, but the plans are in place. I'm guessing the permits are already there. They've been pre-approved. It's just a matter of the customer green lighting it, really. So that's a really good point there when you think about that, designing for the future.
Right.
All right, a couple more photos here. Again, some interior shots, beautiful, well-appointed home. There's the stock plan on a beautiful level lot with grass and trees, which you never really see. But the inside of the screen room is really nice. You can imagine having dinner there for sure, and
yes, indeed.
In the living room and so forth. So really, really well done home. What a great house. What a great story. And really, that's what it's all about. And Dave, I want to thanks, to sharing the Joyce's process with us. And, we're getting towards the end of this. I want to give you an opportunity to talk a little bit about Honest Abe.
Absolutely. So Honest Abe has been around since 1979. And as through this discussion you've seen, we do primarily do custom homes. Not that custom homes have to be exorbitantly priced, but customized from the standard floor plan that you may start with. With the Honest Abe process, we have just a myriad of designs that we've done over the years that we may be able to make suggestions or show you previous plans that we've done that are similar that might give you an idea or several ideas on how to modify your plans. All of these things are done, as we discussed earlier, through either the independent dealer or the model salesperson that you're working with. We do have quite a number of choices in log styles, roof styles. One of the certain other custom features. One of the things that I loved about the Joyce is they selected some custom handcrafted support posts and newel posts and things like that they incorporated into their house, and actually had a local chainsaw artist carve some things on there. I don't know if you saw the bears on the newel post or whatever, but had a great local guy there from northeastern North Carolina come do that. So just a lot of cool things that you can do with that. But we do love to try to aid our customers in achieving their dream log home. These are dreams. This is not something that people are picking a floor plan out of a catalog and going, well, we've got to settle for this. No, we are excited to try to help make your dream come true with the modifications and the choices that you want to make for you and your family for that dream log home.